Hi there and welcome to my channel. Today's project is for the VICKI BOUTIN design team and I'm very excited you're here because I finally got my hands in some Color Kaleidoscope collection. I attended Crop and Create Toronto on the weekend and the store that was at the Crop actually had the entire collection. So I picked pretty much everything. There's a few pieces still missing, but I have the most important thing, the paper pads, uh, pretty much all the embellishments, and I actually got all the stencils and also the watercolor markers. So I'm going to show you a way to create easy mixed media using the water markers and some of the new stencils. Now I've read a few people that talked about the smell of the new stencils, and it is have a smell, and I think it's due to the plastic they use. So all you have to do is wash them with quite a bit of soap and warm water and set them aside to dry. Do not dry them with paper towel, just leave them there to dry. I picked them up on Sunday and I washed them and I set them to dry until Tuesday when I created this layout. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add yeso just to the strip of paper that I created. And for this I am using a foundation paper and I'm just adding some painter's tape to create the stripe. I have not yeso the page. I'm not gonna use yeso to pre-yeso the page. I'm gonna use the foundation paper as is. So once I have created my stripe with the painter's tape, I am gonna go ahead and use Vicky's new palette knife. Pick yourself one up. They're made from silicone. They're amazing. And I'm just gonna add yeso just to the center of the stripe, just to have that area. That's where I'm gonna confine my mixed media. Now I'm gonna work with the watercolor markers. Super simple to work with. First thing you're gonna do when you get them is you're gonna unscrew them, take that yellow ring that comes in the middle and screw them back again. Once you've taken out the ring, do not open it because then you have the ink escape. And they are very highly pigmented, so a little bit is gonna go a long way. You're gonna see here that I'm just using a few drops and adding water. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a little bit of water to the page and then add the pigment on top of it. I am going to use my brush just to push the watercolor in between the nooks and crannies that I created with the stencil. I want to make sure, I want to have the texture and the shape that I added with the stencil stand out and have the color in the background. Now, one of the things you're going to see is that I'm using blue Hawaiian and like I said, water, a little bit of water and then the pigment and just move it around. And then you're going to see that once I have that in place, I'm going to bring a mint julep and pretty much work the same way. So now one of the things that I want to talk to you about is that even though I'm using no yeso on the background, the paper buckled very little. And also along the way, you're going to see that I soak up the extra water. Once because I want to confine the watercolor just to the strip of paper that I created. And second, because I don't want that much of the buckling on the page. Now, like I said, I'm going to do the same procedure using mint julep, which is the color that's going to go on top. And you're going to see that I'm going to add it. It's going to be a very faint application. And I'm going to come back a second time just to kind of accent the color. Now, one of the things that you have to keep in mind is that because of the pigment in the watercolor marker, I don't know if you can see my fingers. I have a few of them stained from opening the markers. Is that it is going to stain a little bit, or I think it was tint a little bit of the yeso impression that you created. So take your time along the way to buff the area. If you want the color, in this case I wanted the whiteness of the yeso to stand out, so you're gonna see that I bring a baby wipe and I just buff the area of the stencil, the stenciled area a little bit, just because I want the whiteness of the stencil to show up. If I let the watercolor, in this case the watercolor marker, sit on top of it, it is going to remain white a little bit, but it's going to take kind of the shade of the watercolor that I'm using. So just take the time to buff your area of the yeso area, or if you're using also acrylic gel, because the pigment in the markers will tint the impression. So just keep that in mind. Once again, I'm going to go back to the layout, and this time I'm going to use a juicy pear to the bottom part of the layout. And again, I'm following the same procedure, and you're going to see that I'm going to bring a few more drops of the same color just to accent some of the areas that I think need to have those colors to deepen the color. And I'm going to set it aside for a little bit, and then I'm going to slowly pull out the painter's tape, you're gonna see that I get pretty much a clean line all through, and I really love that I combine my mixed media. Super simple. And then I'm just gonna go carefully just buff the area of some of the areas that I missed before it dries completely. And I'm gonna set it aside to dry, and I'm gonna work on the pictures until this set. And sorry, what I'm saying, before I do that, I set it aside to dry for a little bit. That's true. But before I completely put it to dry and set properly, I'm gonna create a little bit of drips. My idea was to extend the mixed media to the right hand side, in this case, of the layer. And for this, I am using, a couple weeks ago, I had a little container of iridescent glaze that was about to dry up, and it was already like very minimal. So I added a little bit of warm water. It kind of created this iridescent paint. So I have it handy. But all it is a little bit of iridescent glaze, some water, and a little bit of the marker color. You're gonna see that I'm using the same colors that I used, and I'm gonna actually add a little bit of this I'm gonna say shimmery watercolor, just to where the color is placed, and kind of tip the page forward and just tap it on my desk, and that's gonna create those little drips. I don't want much. You're gonna see that I'm gonna kind of add the mixed media just to the center of the page. That's where the title and the pictures are gonna meet. So I want to keep everything there. You're gonna see that I don't let the drips go all the way either to the right hand side of the layer. I'm trying to confine the mixed media, and I'm trying to make it very simple. Again, like I said, this is simple mixed media, nothing complicated. There's only a few things that you have to remember, like make sure you add your painter's tape, don't add yeso to the background. A little bit goes a long way. No working that much water into this project, and that's all it's gonna take. So like you're gonna see again, I'm adding a little bit of iridescent paint, as I'm calling it, but all it is iridescent glaze with a little bit of water, a little bit of the marker. I am adding this diluted mixture onto the page, and I'm just tipping the page forward and kind of tapping it on my table, and that's just gonna create the drips, and I'm just keeping it right onto the center of the page, and I'm not letting the drip go all the way. Once I have that in place, I'm gonna set that aside to dry, and I want to pull 2 pictures of my son. I have a few pictures of my son, and one of the reasons that I went for the greens in this layout is because my son we went out for a walk, and I have all these pictures, and a lot of the colors of that day there was these deep greens and the blue of the sky. So once I saw the papers in Vicky's in the Color Kaleidoscope collection, I thought they were gonna great for this series. So I pulled a few, and I pulled some papers from the 12 by 12 paper pan. I pulled the ones that had a lot of greens and teals and a little bit of black, because there's a lot of black accents on this collection. And I'm just gonna layer them behind the picture. I'm adding foam, fun foam behind one of them, and I added 2 different heights of fun foam. So one's thicker than the other one, so that the picture they're at a different level. And I'm gonna glue them right onto the layer, not in a straight line. Because my mixed media is on a straight line, I'm gonna kind of just glue them. Think of it as coming off from the center. Once I have that in place, I'm gonna go ahead and start creating clusters using the embellishments from the collection. And the first thing I'm gonna use is one of the cover stickers from those buildable stickers, the sticker book. And I really love the big circle with the heart. So I'm gonna use it behind the top picture, and then I'm gonna play actually with a lot of the chipboard stickers just to create my cluster. And then I went and created my title. I used a combination for my title of the colorful puffy alphas from the Color Kaleidoscope, and also the alphas from the All the Good Things collection. And you're gonna see that I'm running low on really all the alphas, because I'm making up the L by cutting up 2 letters, and also my letter E is at 3 backwards. And that's gonna be my title, Big Smile. Once I have that in place, I'm gonna cut around. I'm gonna say around a 1.5 inch from the right hand side of the layer when I have a lot of that white space, because my idea is I'm gonna kind of frame the layer using some of the green papers in the Color Kaleidoscope collection. And I'm pulling just some of the papers that have teals, that have greens, and a little bit of black. And that paper says cheese. I thought it was perfect for this layer. So all I'm doing is cutting a few strips of the paper, and then I'm gonna glue them onto a 12 by 12 paper that I have in hand. I think the paper that I'm using is one of the page protectors, the paper that comes inside. It's just for create the base for this layer. And then I'm gluing the strips of paper right onto the right and left hand side of the page, sorry. And then I'm gonna add quite a bit of tape runner or tape to the center, just to glue my background in place. And then I'm going to cut any extra paper that is coming off the layout. Once I have that in place, I'm going to go ahead and create or finish, in this case, my visual triangle. And for this, I'm going to create a small cluster on the on the bottom right hand side of the layout. And I'm using some of the ephemera. Actually, there's one that's all full of frames, so I'm using a few of them. Again, I'm going to bring a few chipboard stickers. I'm bringing the circle is from the All the Good Things collection. As I was building the clusters, I realized that the big sticker that I used on the top picture had a little bit of craft. So I'm going to bring a few accents of craft to all the clusters. Now, I'm also going to bring a bit more of the mixed media to the little cluster that I created, because I think I need to kind of marry all the look of this page together. So all I'm going to do is I'm scribbling a little bit of not scribbling, adding a little drop of the marker onto my table. And I have like a PVC table, so it's easy for me to clean. And then a little bit of water just to bring a few splatters and a few of the colors. I'm going to make it look like as if it's a drip coming from the right hand side onto the left. And for this, you're going to see that I'm just going to add a little bit of the water with the watercolor and just kind of scribble a little bit on the paper. Again, no yeso, just straight onto the paper. And then I'm going to add a few more stickers, and then I'm going to bring a little bit of black art crayon just because there's those accents of black on the layout. And I'm going to add a few droplets around the entire page. That's about it. Super simple. I hope you try it. This is simple mixed media. Let me know if you have any questions. I love how this turned out. I'm in love with this collection. So much you can do. And I cannot wait to see what you create with this collection, what inspires you. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me. I hope that you try this layout, and I also hope that you check out all Vicky's stuff because it's amazing. Thank you so much for joining me. Take care.